Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasul Kareem, amma ba'd. Topic was carrying on, and I'm hoping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may Allah ta'ala gives hopes to the mu'mineen. In the hadith here, Abdullah ibn Umar ibn As narrates from Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam read the ayat of the Quran, the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wa salam. رب إنهن أضللن كثيرا من الناس فمن تبعني فإنه مني. This dua, Ibrahim Islam made this dua for his ummah. Oh my Lord, that these idols has made people astray. So it means, what means by the idols made people astray, that people start believing in the idols and think that the idols has got power in them to benefit anybody or to harm anybody. What the result is they started worshipping the idols, and in reality now worshipping the idols means they've gone astray. So in other words, it means that the idols has made the explanation said that the idols have put them astray. It means that the belief they got with the idols that they have got within themselves. So Ibrahim made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah that this idols have made the people astray, and those people who follow me are from me. And it was those who brought iman on Ibrahim salatu wa salam, and they followed the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shown to them by Ibrahim salatu wa salam, that those people are part of me. And those people who don't believe in me, those people who disobeyed me and are making kufr and shirk, Allah please forgive them also, because Ibrahim said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one who forgives everybody and who is merciful and kind to everybody also. To Allah ta'ala wishes, Allah ta'ala forgive them also. This was the dua of Ibrahim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Then the Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam read the dua of Isa alayhi salatu wa sallam, إن تعذبهم فإنه عبادك وإن تغفر لهم فإنك أنت العزيز الحكيم. As Isa also made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, if you can punish them, then definitely they are your servants. You got all rights to punish them, and nobody can object against you. And forgive them, then surely you are very, very powerful also, and you got a lot of wisdom also. So Allah can forgive them because of His wisdom also, and Allah knows everything very well. So when Ibrahim Islam made the dua for the people whose son and disobedient, and Isa Islam also made this dua for his ummah, then Nabi Kareem, after Nabi Kareem Islam read these two ayats, Nabi Islam also made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and said, oh Allah, my ummah. Then other words, and so said, Allahumma ummati. So what about my ummah? Forgive my ummah also. So this two great Nabis of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we draw to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to draw the mercies and forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After Nabi Kareem also made dua for his ummah. So then Jibreel Islam came and told Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah Ta'ala sent Jibreel Islam to Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam to ask him why he is crying, why he is making dua, what dua he is making. And we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows very well what Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam dua is making also, but at the same time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to bless Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to give a gift to Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam because of his crying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Example of this, like a small child started crying and he wants something, becomes stubborn. So what the parents say, now, what do you want? Do you want this? And they say, and he gives him this thing and keeps quiet. In some manner, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why are you crying? What do you want? Allah Jibreel to Nabi Kareem to ask him, and then Jibreel met Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Nabi Karim asked Nabi Karim Sallallahu, he said that, why are you crying? So Nabi Sallallahu said that, I'm being dua that Allah Ta'ala must forgive my ummah also. And we all know that Allah Ta'ala knows exactly what Nabi Sallallahu has made also. But in this sense here, that Allah wanted to find out and after asking them and give him whatever he asked for. So as Jibreel Islam went to Nabi Karim Sallallahu told Nabi Islam, this is what Nabi Sallallahu is making. Then Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala told us, Ibrahim, go and tell Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, it's concerning your ummah, I will make you happy always. I won't disappoint you. So this hadith here, Imam Shafi Rahmatullah Alayhi and Ahmad Abdul Aziz Rahmatullah Alayhi say that this hadith gives a great consolement and gives a lot of hopes it gives us. That every moment we believe in Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, definitely will be forgiven. And Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam won't be satisfied that every ummati is being forgiven. And we know that Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that tell each of my ummati, until he don't go into Jannat, I won't get happy with him. So this shows shows us that we have hope that when they brought Iman on Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then definitely that hope and that love for Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will help us to go into Jannat also. So here Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam cried for this ummah and with dua for this ummah, and in return Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala gave that promise also that I won't let you down concerning your ummah, and I won't let you disappoint you concerning your ummah also. So then what is our responsibility? When Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was so kind towards us, he made this dua, and Allah Ta'ala made a promise to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So what is our responsibility now? Our responsibility is now that we follow every sunnah of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Whatever Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told us to do is to follow those things. That is our responsibility now. Don't do any such thing that will displease Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And something which means of displeasing Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, not displeasing Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, stay away from those things. That's why it comes to hadith also that once in a week and sometimes twice in a week, and Allah Ta'ala sends a condition of the Ummah to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam hear that Ummah are doing good work, he gets very happy with it. When he hears that the Ummah are making some guna, then he gets sad, he gets hurt about it. So our responsibility now to be considerate to the dua of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and to be loyal to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam means that we got to stay away from all types of guna and follow every sunnah of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and don't go against Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That on the day of Qiyamah, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam can have hopes that we are following his sunnah, and with that hope he can intercede for us, make shifaat for us on the day of Qiyamah also. So here as mentioned that we could follow every sunnah of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And when we follow sunnah of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam properly, and then by mistake we do some guna, we slip up some whatever it is, then Allah Ta'ala will forgive us. We ask Tawbah to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, He will forgive us. But purposely to make a guna or not to follow the sunnah of Islam, that is totally not acceptable. So if we follow the ways of the enemies of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then imagine what a bad thing is that. How much of this loyalty showing to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. In every aspect of our life we want to see that we follow the command of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and not the enemies of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, concerning our lifestyle, concerning our dressing, concerning our hairstyle, concerning our eating, whatever it is. We try and follow the way of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and not the non-believers, those whom the enemies of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam should follow their ways. In this hadith, Hazrat Muaz bin Jabal narrated that once was sitting with Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam on a donkey and making safar somewhere. He was sitting in the back and Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was in front. And then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "Oh Muaz, that you know that what's the right of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala on the servants, and what the rest of the servants on Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala?" As Muaz said, Allah and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam knows the best. Then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam explained, said that the rights of the servants on Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is that they worship Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. They believe in one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't ascribe partners to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The rest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the servants is what? That Allah won't punish them. As long as they don't make any, to ascribe any partners to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Hazrat Mu'adh told Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, because they tell the people this good glad tidings that believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they don't ascribe partners to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they make ibadah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're not involved in shirk at all. Then Allah, such a great promise Allah has given them, Allah won't punish them. Must announce it to the people that they can get happy because of the iman. So on this, Nabi Kareem Sallallahu said that don't tell the people now. You won't tell them now. Then they'll have their hopes on that they'll be forgiven. Allah won't punish them, and they won't do good actions, and they won't stay away from bad actions also, bad deeds also. So here you can see here now, on Allah, nothing is compulsory and wajib on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made a promise that He won't forgive you, He won't punish anybody. So therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala won't go against His promises, and He will fulfill the promise according to the hadith mentioned here. And they tell me that there's a right on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah got no rights on anybody. But because Allah made a promise, so they tell me that there's the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the people who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ibadah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and does ascribe part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And before also as we mentioned also that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept high stages for a person in Jannat because of the type of actions and deeds he commits in this world. And they're given the glad tidings for that also. So thus, when the person comes to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept a place for him in Jannat and high stages in Jannat, then he'll just have hopes on these high stages and he won't do any actions in the world. So that will be a thing of a harm, from a loss for him it will be. So that's why Nabi said that don't inform the people, because they'll fall on the promise that they've got a place in Jannat already. Why must you do something in the world? One will maybe about it in the world or do something in the world. And we know everybody's nature is different. When the one thing you speak to somebody, they take the meaning differently. And the same thing you see somebody else take the meaning differently. The one thing you speak, something has a great effect on them. And the same thing you speak to somebody else has a less effect on them. This is what happens, depends on the nature of a person, with what feeling that he listens to what somebody say. Some will find Ustad says something to somebody, it has great effect on him. But if the parent says something, it doesn't have the same effect on that person. Same thing, sometimes the parent says something, it has effect on the child. But if any other relative or cousin says something, it doesn't have effect on the child. It depends on how the person's relation is. So here also now, the same thing is mentioned here also, that here, when Nabi Sallallahu telling this to Hazrat Mu'adh radiallahu ta'ala anhu, means that because he had that capability in him to always progress himself, and that's why Nabi Sallallahu told him that he won't feel lazy, he won't feel lax within himself, and don't do good actions, because he knows the responsibility and the reality and what's the meaning of those words of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But people like us will tell us what happened because of our laziness, and then the shaitans troubling us and leading us astray also at the same time. These two things will get together and we'll do no good action. We'll say, now we're going to go to Jannah, why must we do this? So our nature is that's why someone said don't tell everybody, because then they will become like that. So look at ourselves also, will find there's so much times that there's the opportunity for us to do some good action, but we don't do it. Like it comes in hadith that one time one Sahab was going somewhere and he saw one qabr. He got off his horse and read 2 rakat namaz he read. So someone asked him, is there any fazila for the 2 rakat namaz? Is it because of his place or some month or year or whatever it is? So no, nothing like that. He said, I only thought of one hadith Nabi Sallallahu came to my mind. That Nabi Sallallahu said that a person in a grave, his only wish will be that I get so much time to exercise 2 rakat namaz. So I thought to myself that I got iman in my heart also, and I got life in my body also at the same time. So why don't use that time to 2 rakat namaz that I won't regret in the grave? So they had that so much of feeling within themselves. And when we got time also, we won't read 2 rakat namaz, We won't do about tasbih, subhanallah, nothing. We'll just waste our time just like that. And how much fazail mentioned in the kitab of zikrullah, to make zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We spend our time in zikr, how much we won't benefit from zikr, but we won't do those things there because we are lazy and haven't got the importance of those things there. That's why for us, the themselves said that don't tell others, they won't do anything. So it shows from here that in other words, we got to work towards that what Allah has promised us in Jannat for the higher places. We got to work towards it in this world. After we die, we can't do anything. Only till we got life in our body, then only we can do something and achieve the high stages in Jannat. That's why you'll find it comes in the hadith also that some people are in Allah put into difficulties also, and because of it, Allah raises the stages also. And people like some people find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept a place for them in Jannat already, but because they never make enough ibadat or whatever in this world, so Allah put them to some difficulties. Sometimes they get sick also. Sometimes they less income, wealth, less they have. Or any type of difficulty, when they stubborn on their difficulties, then Allah forgive their sins and give them a place in Jannah to give them. And then this hadith, Bara ibn Azib narrates from Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that when a person goes when a person is put into his grave, at that time the angels come and ask the question to that person, that who is your Rabb, and what is your deen, and who is this person? Is Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So at that time, he will give witness and he will read the kalima and say that I worship Allah, nobody besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and give witness of Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In other words, he'll give this proper answers in the qabr, because while he was alive, he used to follow his life according to the sunnah of Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He followed on the teaching of Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's why in the Quran it is mentioned that يُثَبِّتُ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِالْقَوْلِ الثَّابِتِ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ. For the people of this world who has got iman in this world, for them in the year after also Allah will give them steadfast. So in this world also will be steadfast, in the year also will be steadfast, and will give the answer for these questions in the year after. So in this world, the people who read this kalima and they support this kalima with the good actions and what the kalima demands from them, and they believe, they make the beliefs strong, and only worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and nobody besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then this type of people, when they pass away then in the grave, definitely because their life was on iman, so the answer was also of iman also in the grave also. So this is a great hope for the people who live a life of iman in this world. For them, this is a great hope for them, that they will answer this question at the time of in the grave. When the question will be asked them, they will answer this question properly. So in this world, if you fulfill the demands of iman, then in the grave you will be able to answer these questions and properly. So this hadith also give us the type of consolement, that the type of life we live in this world, according to that will have some comfort in the grave also. As Anas narrates from Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that when a kafir, non-believer, does some good work, then Allah gives him the return of the good work in this world already. And concerning a mu'min, when he does some good work, then Allah leaves that return of the good work for him in the year after. And sometime in the world also, Allah will give some part of the return of the good work in this world also. But the better portion of the return will be in the year after. And another hadith also, it's mentioned in summary also, that the mu'min, a believer, when he does some good work in this world, then he will get a full reward if he is in the year after. And the kafir, whatever they do, they will get the full reward in this world. They will get, and so that when in the year after, when they go there, they'll have nothing as a return for the good work they did in this world. So this is the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how Allah ta'ala conducts things. This is how his way is here. the kafir, a non-believer, when he makes ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he's got no iman within himself, so how will that ibadah of his will be accepted? For iman, for ibadah to be accepted, you've got to have iman within yourself. And yet the condition of iman is not present, so the result, the ibadah will not be accepted. For example, a non-believer will read namaz, then the namaz will not called namaz. He gives roza also, that roza wouldn't called roza, because he has got iman within himself. But concerning other good actions, for example, to benefit somebody, for example, a person feeds somebody, or a person gives clothing to somebody, or help a person in difficulty. So all this work, if a Muslim does, we call it good work also. And a non-believer does it, say this also will say is good work. So, and here now the intention is not necessary because you are benefiting somebody. And the way ibadah is concerned, there you go to have iman, then only you get a reward for it. So here, when a non-believer does something like that, does some good work like this, the Nabi Karim Sallallahu said that they will get a return for the good action in this world. They will get it, and Allah won't keep anything back that to give some return in the hereafter. He'll get all the returns in this world. That's why we find one hadith, Nabi Karim Sallallahu says that this world is like a prison for the mu'min, and it's like a jannat for the non-believers. Because they love themselves, they enjoy themselves, they got no worry and concern about accountability, nothing, because they got no iman within themselves. And the moment he got iman, so for him it's like a brother, he can't do this, he can't do that, he must live restrictions for him. So the result looks like in the prison, but in the meantime, in the year after, he will be living in Jannat, and non-believers will be living in Jahannam. So a non-believer, whatever good work they do in the world, all the return they get in this world for it, and there's nothing in the world to say that they never get a return of it in this world. So that's why you'll find the non-believers are always happy. They do good work and they're happy they're getting the return of it in this world. But for the mu'min, Allah Ta'ala kept all his sawab for the year after. But in this world also, a little bit Allah Ta'ala gives something also to the believers also. And the actual reward is left for the year after. And that's why in some other hadiths also it is mentioned explicitly, mentioned that for a mu'min, for whatever guna he does, whatever wrong he does, then Allah Ta'ala punishes him in the world in different forms. So that the effects of the guna he has done, that gets washed away. Sometimes a person gets sick, for example. Somebody in difficulties. Sometimes the sustenance is less, which they can't make ends meet properly also. And sometimes that people start troubling them and hurting them, and they make sabr on that also. So that whatever evil you did, the effect of the evil will get washed away with all this type of difficulties, and they make sabr on it. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't take any revenge for them, and this type of life which they got is it looked like punishment, but in reality it wasn't punishment for them, but this was the means of cleansing them for the year after. So and the year after Allah put them straight into Jannat. And concerning the way of the non-believer is completely different, opposite to this. That's why the nature of the Sahaba Kiram was that while in the world they lived in such a way they didn't worry of the wealth of the world. And whenever any ni'mat and of the world came towards them, they were always very frightful. And they should say that this is the return for the good work we did in this world. Now, what was the way of how was ideology or the method of thinking of the Sahaba was the main? Just imagine how they should think. The Sahab in Al-Tarajillah narrates that he says that once he was sick, and the people came to visit him while he was sick. Then he tell the people that we brought iman on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we undertook a lot of difficulties. We bore a lot of difficulties in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we didn't wait for any return for the difficulties in this world at all. and we try to keep all the blessings or the ni'mat written for us in the year after. From there we find Hazrat Hamza radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Hazrat Musa bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Hazrat Musa bin Umar he became shaheed in the battle of Uhud. He became shaheed. And when the Musa was giving his kafan also, he didn't have so much cloth also to cover his whole body. He should cover his head, then the feet should stay open. He should cover his feet, and then head should stay open. Nabi Karim said to cover his head and put some grass over his feet. So these people, they never take the return of the good actions in this world. They took everything for the year after. So under the Sahaba, their nature was such that no matter how much good action we'll do, we don't want the return in this world, because they had that yaqeen, that confidence, they had that trust within themselves that whatever good work we do, we are going to get the return in the year after. We're going to get the return. So they had that yaqeen of the year after so much that they didn't want any return of the good action they did in this world, and that's how they left this world in that manner. But nowadays, just imagine what is the condition of us today. That only if some ni'mat come to us, some wealth come towards us, then we get very happy. There's ni'mat of Allah has come towards us. And if we don't get some ni'mat, then we get angry, we get sad, and Allah is not pleased with us, looks at us. So we speak such words sometimes which is not proper at all, not appropriate at all. We speak the same thing. Sometimes they say, when some ni'mat come to them, they say, now Allah is looking at us now. Now Allah has got some time for us. So these type of things, when they speak, that is, my heart starts shaking because of it. How can I speak such things concerning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? But when they didn't have much, Allah wasn't looking after them. What? Then Allah will look after them. How Allah will look after them? Instead of making shukr of the ni'mat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they speak with boasting and pride, which is not correct at all. In one place, it is mentioned that one pious person, it started raining. So he spoke, somebody so that Allah send rain on the right time, Allah send the rain down for us. So immediately, the pious people, when they say something, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala immediately, Allah cautioned them. So Allah said that what, did I ever send that time on the wrong times or what? Did I ever send rain on the wrong times or what? So never Allah sent rain was on time. When people needed the rain, Allah sent the rain to them. So it shows that when you speak also, we've got to speak correct. We don't speak out of turn things. We must speak things which is correct also. So we speak so much wrong things, and we don't even realize that we're speaking wrong things. We're displeasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we not so to speak. We speak those words, we don't even realize those things also. Like there was one person from the Bani Israel. He was making ibadah, he was out of the town, he was there. He was making ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala day and night. He was very pious, and people knew to be very pious also. And because of his piety, whenever there's some occasion should take place in the town or whatever, they should send food for him also, making part of the function or whatever it is. And they had this belief that if he takes part in our function, there will be barakat in our functions. So one day there was a wedding in the function in the town, so he said, send some food for the pious person also. So it was send the small children with the food, and when they came with the food, he said, I'm not going to eat the food, take the food back. They said, no, there's a wedding there, and send the food for you. So I don't take it back. When they brought food back, the elder people of the town said there's something not looking right. The pious people not going to eat the food, then there will be no barakat now in our wedding also, in our occasion, it will be no barakat. So the leaders now, they got together, they went and said, we got to plead with him and make him eat the food. When he came to this person, told him that now there's a wedding, happy occasion, we want you to take part in the occasion and all that. He said, no, I can't eat, I'm not going to eat. He said, why? He said, I took a qasam, when because of that I wouldn't eat. In olden days, and the Shariat, they was to take this type of qasam not to eat all that, was jais at that time. So he said that I was sitting here, and I saw this mountain in front of me, and I was thinking to myself, and he made a statement that just imagine if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should have put greenery on this mountain, put some the trees on the mountain, flowers on the mountain, some like a spring on the mountain, waterfalls on the mountain, how peaceful the mountain should look. So Allah ta'ala cautioned him and told him that, till today you are my servant with my ibadat. Today you became my mushir, became my advisor today. Say, because I came to realize what a big blunder I made. I was not supposed to object on the dreams of Allah, on the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just I have taken an oath that now I won't eat till Allah don't give me a clear signs of forgiveness of the great guna I made. So the people of the town, who were the leaders there who came there, they told him that, no, why are you worried of all the small things, man? Eat the food, whatever it is. When the punishment comes, we have so many people in a town, we'll distribute the punishment among ourselves. When they said these things, then immediately Allah Ta'ala send a message to the spies that now these people think my punishment will be very light. So you leave this town immediately and go away from here. So when he walked out of the town, when he went out of the town, that Allah's punishment came down in the form that the whole town was turned upside down. And nobody could be safe from there. So we've got to be very careful how we speak, and what we speak is very, very important. Don't speak things that is not proper, it's improper. Don't speak such things. Improper things, you shouldn't speak those things there. We are servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can make ibadat to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and obey every command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is our responsibility. Then we are making haqiqi bandagi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if we want to object in Allah Ta'ala's doings, then there's not haqiqi bandagi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes some people saying that when coming, some difficulties come on the way, then they say that, what guna did we make that Allah is pushing to give this punishment to us? Now imagine now day and night we make so much guna, then we still speak with the boldest words in ourselves, that what guna did we make Allah is punishing us. To speak such things is completely not proper at all. This shows ingratitude to Allah. This shows pride and haughtiness within the person. One saying in Arabic said, "Wujuduka dhanbun la yuqasu bihi dhanbun." That your presence alone is a guna. You don't have to add any other guna to it. Because our life, how we spend our lives. Our life, you won't find a moment there we are not unaware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So always unaware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just by making so much guna we make. But if it's thought Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there with us, we won't make guna. So every time we're unaware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wherever it is, so how much guna don't we make? So how can we say what guna do we make that Allah is punishing us for this? So it shows that we could do change our mindset and think like a mu'min, think like a banda, how to make ibadat to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whichever ni'mat Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us, we are not worthy of the ni'mat also. Because we are so unaware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how much we are disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whatever little ni'mat Allah has given to us also, we are not worthy of the ni'mat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why we could always praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and have the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on our tongues and we could fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all times. We could lead our life in such a way that we always fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whatever ni'mat Allah has given to us, it is more than what we deserve. In other words, our life is such that we should deserve punishment, but Allah Ta'ala has given us that ni'mat. That is a kindness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah gave us more than what we deserve. In other words, there's a ihsan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon us, and we cannot say Allah paid us back for the good work we did. That was our responsibility. We never did anything more than our responsibility. So how can we say that? So here you can see what was the mindset of the Sahaba comes to me, and what is our mindset? Our mindset, you can see from there. Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, one day he had a silken cloth to clean his nose. And so just imagine, there was a time when I was in the Masjid Nabawi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I should fall down onto the ground, and people thought that I had this epilepsy, and she put a foot on my neck. In those days, should cure the epilepsy by putting the foot on the neck, let the blood flow, whatever it is. So people thought I had a sickness, but in reality, I had no sickness. I was hungry. Because of hunger, I should fall down unconscious because of hunger. So that I was such a desperate person. And today Allah has given me so much. It looks like Allah is giving me the return of whatever I did in this world. In this world, it doesn't touch me in the year after. So their thoughts are like that. Why are you getting so much of ease in this world? It shows that Allah is not happy with us. So what do we get in the year after? Seems to find Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu, other Sahab will find also, they say, when they said there was extra food on the table, or some luxurious come table, said, now, it looks like now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us our return of our sacrifice in this world. What are we going to get in the year after now? So that was their way of thinking, and how do we think today? When there's got a little less in this world, then you need to start complaining to Allah, and say such words which are not proper at all. We've got to be careful how we conduct our lives and how we speak. We should be careful about that, because how we speak That's how the return is going to be. Say all difficulties that come about is because how we speak. For example, you're talking to some friend also, for example. He's talking good to the friend will be good to you. If you talk bad to the friend and use bad languages, you're going to fight, quarrel, he'll hurt you also, because how you spoke. The same manner also, if you speak kind to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we recognize the ni'mat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then definitely Allah will increase His ni'mat upon us and will be more grateful to Allah. Although we enjoy His ni'mat, but still be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's how a Muslim should behave like that. Allah give us tawfiq of understanding and practicing, and to carry on doing good work in such a way that we followed every sunnah of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The dua Nabi sallallahu made for this ummah, and in return for it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made a promise that Allah won't punish us. We will be recipients of that dua also, inshallah. So we go to show our allegiance to Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam by following every sunnah of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then that the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will come, a reality for us also will come. Allah give us tawfiq of understanding and practicing and making our iman to that level where we can think properly and we can conduct our life also according to how Allah wants us to conduct our lives also.